I am so excited to be here today with Sarah Ludmila. If you don't know me, I'm Gina Casbaro, and the two of us are facilitators in Sparkle Space. And we jumped on this impromptu call today because we really wanted to share about the upcoming cat dance that Sarah is hosting on Friday, March 28th. So before we get into the conversation, I want to introduce you to this incredible human sitting across the screen from me. So Sarah, is there anything that you want to share to introduce yourself? I know you're a Sparkle Space facilitator. What else do you want to share?
Yeah, I'm also certified in Reiki 1, so I recently have come into that. And my journey to become a facilitator of ecstatic dances has been very interesting. I grew up doing dance from, I think, about third grade was when I started taking classes. And I pretty much did that all throughout high school until about sophomore year. And I had a couple of gap years in there, but I did it for a very long time. I did ballet, I did jazz, I did modern, and I just like really loved dancing and I really loved also the musical aspect of it and the musicality of creating this journey through
Mhm.
dancing. But there was this very specific moment. I feel like it was middle school when everything gets weird for everyone. And I just started not liking it as much, but I still did it
Mhm.
and there were moments that I liked it, but I think I just had a lot more mental health challenges at that time, and so comparison became really loud for me and just really hard on myself and like definitely am a perfectionist. So there was a lot of things that dance was actually challenging me in. I just really had this overwhelming feeling I wasn't enough in that space. And it also was just kind of
Mhm.
like, it's just kind of how I felt in general. So I had a transitioning relationship with dance, and then I took such a long break from it.
Mhm.
And then I think about 5 years ago, found ecstatic dance and realized, like, oh my God, like, I'm so glad this space exists because I could let go of those perfectionist tendencies. And there was no choreography. And it was just like this free flowing movement that I could do what I wanted. And I didn't have to compare myself to someone else because it's no one's going to move in the way that I'm going to move and the way that I need to move. And everyone gets to move
Mhm.
in their own unique essence and flavor. And it really enlivened this love of mine that really kind of got layered with all of these other things that I was moving through. And it kind of really brought me back into my body and has also allowed me to find more love for my body, which kind of, again, like middle school was weird. Like it got weird at that time. And so I'm so grateful for this space and for ecstatic dance for doing that, and for Sparkle Space for that container of just really accepting who I am and loving who I am in that moment and however I show up. And I also think my relationship with music has shifted. I think it was, I don't know how many years ago, but in college, I loved music and I thought I wanted to be someone who picked the songs that go into movies and commercials and stuff because I was like, oh, music
Nice.
creates journeys, it creates a story. I
Mhm.
had to go to NYU and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And then it didn't work out. And it's just so funny like how the journey like comes back around. Like a couple years later, I found ecstatic dance. And then a couple years after that, it was like, oh, you have this opportunity now where you get to find that music that creates the story and you get to create a story with these musical sets.
Mm. So good. Thank you so much for sharing that context and that story of how you got into this work. And I'm so excited for this conversation and to hear more about what inspired this cat dance. So thank you for joining me today. So I would love to hear, I know this is your second animal dance now. We had cat dance in 2024. What is inspiring you to bring forth this animal spirit energy?
Yeah, I just have always loved animals, that they've just been such a big part of my life ever since I was a child. I was definitely the kid that would be on the floor with the dog or the cat, playing with the animals. And so I think that's a very deep part of who I am. And I think sometimes that question is hard to answer because I had this idea last year to do this horse dance and it was just like horse medicine dance. And then I had this moment of, what does that mean? Like, I want to do it. And I knew it was a full body yes, I want to do this. And then it's, but what does that mean and why? And what has been so
Mhm.
fun in this experience and like this moment when I had the full body cat dance. That's what's next. It's just been this process of it's going to reveal itself as it becomes available and like
Mm.
ready to come through. And just like
Mhm.
listening to that and knowing that, okay, like I know that this
Mhm.
is the next move, the next experience and
Mhm.
medicine that wants to come through. And I don't always fully know why until I'm actually
Mhm.
moving through it. And so
Mhm.
yeah, the idea came through. I was having this experience. I was playing with my cat Momo, and he's honestly the inspiration for the dance, truthfully. And the reason why is because I don't know, I have such like a strong bond with him, and the way that he came into my life was like so kismet. Like I prayed about wanting another cat, and like literally the next day my friend like found this little cat on the street that wanted a home, and I specifically prayed for a black cat with a little white on his chest. And the very next day, my friend finds this cat on the street. And so I just feel like he's such a angel and guide in my life and has shown me all of these different places within me that are ready to grow and expand. And one of those is play. He is so
Mhm.
and that's actually like why I had the inspiration for the dance was there was one time where we were playing tag and running around like he'll do this thing where he like hides in the corner or like hides behind something and then just randomly jumps out at you and literally tags you with his paws and then runs away. And it's just
Mhm.
this really fun experience to be like going throughout my day, and I can usually get stuck in that process of, oh, I have all these things to do, and I'm constantly running through my mind and ruminating of, oh, I got to do this, and then I'm doing this, and then I'm
Mhm.
doing this, and not necessarily being like so present. And then he'll literally stop me in my
Mhm.
tracks and he's, hey, mom, let's play. And then he like runs down the hall, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can go do this. And so then I,
Mhm.
like, run down the hall and
Mhm.
we, like, play this, like, fun thing where we, like, hide behind things, and I just have never I grew up with cats my whole life, but I've never had a cat play with me in that way, and it's just so
Mhm.
special, and I just had this moment months ago where I thought, "I wanna bring this. I wanna bring this forward in a dance.
Mhm.
I wanna bring this energy forward in a dance," and at the time, I wasn't sure how, but I just knew I want to do this, and this is what is ready to come forth next. He's healed so much of my heart. I
Mhm.
look at him and I'm
Mhm.
like, I love him so much. And he's just so loving, and I just, like, also wanna bring that forth in the dance, just yeah, I just yeah. I It's hard to put it into words, but I feel like it's okay, that's what wants to come through, and now I just
Mhm.
have to follow that step of just, "Okay, I'm gonna say yes to it,"
Yeah.
and now more is coming.
Yeah. So it sounds like following these moments of just inspiration and intuition and knowing that it's not like there's a final destination that you already have met.
Mm,
It's just like being willing to take it one step at a time and know you're going to get a little bit more, one more little breadcrumb as you continue to explore in that creation
yeah,
process.
yeah,
And
definitely.
I'm curious with the horse dance, what was the biggest thing that you personally grew from or a transformation or like what was the impact on you on going through that experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest part was the sense of community that horses have in their herds
Mhm.
and how they all, through their hearts, all co regulate together and also call forth the need for truth. And how,
Mhm.
when you interact with a horse, they will immediately show you how you're feeling because they just amplify that energy so much. And so it really asks in this really gentle way, how can you ground more and be truthful to how you're feeling and not hide
Mhm.
that? Because in hiding that, in masking those parts, but then you're like not showing up like actually how you're feeling, actually how you are, and that there's nothing wrong with how you're feeling or the stories that might be playing around or that you might be feeling anxious or angry. We like try so hard to stuff those parts that we deem not okay to be seen and shown. But then
Mhm.
underneath that, like we have all these currents going through us that that's what's happening. I might be showing up and, oh, I'm like, oh, I'm laughing, I'm joyful, and it's really I might be really mad and not
Mhm.
giving voice to that. It's not everyone is gonna pick up on that, but certain people will, and animals will pick up on
Mhm.
that. And that's why, like, horses and cats are very similar. A cat will
Mhm.
really they will really know, "Oh, this is a person that I wanna be around, and this is a person that I'm like, I'm not so sure about." And horses are similar. And so I think that was like the biggest part and the biggest learning for me was just that guidance and that request for truth of in each moment. And also, I historically am a very independent person. And I think I've had to be from just what I've experienced in life. I am someone who can really do that and feel I'm pretty self sufficient and those kind of things. And I needed that out of survival. And I also think the horse medicine dance and what that medicine showed me is that I do need community and I need people. And how can I connect to my body and my intuition and pick
Mhm.
those people that I want to be in my circle, in my herd, and the people that will protect my heart and be there for me and share in that experience and that joy and all of the things that come up. So yeah, that was another big piece of wow, my life looks so different than it has in the past. And I just feel like I've had these different transitions of the people in my life. And now I feel like I have a different herd of people that I commune with. And that was a big part of, oh, I'm not doing this alone. I don't have to do this alone. I don't want to do this alone.
Yeah. So it sounds like personally for you, feeling into that horse medicine energy and this idea of community support and truth and showing up authentically, that was really a space for you to lean in. And I'm curious too, what you saw like the impact on the community was
Yeah.
of going through that experience and receiving that medicine.
Yeah, I think what I'll say is that experience in that dance, I had all of the ideas and I was really trying to release expectations and I knew I wanted to do these certain things and I created the music set, but I really did not have any idea what was going to happen. And I think the biggest thing that came through was just it was so playful. And I just feel like everyone felt so connected in that experience. And that's what
Mhm.
I felt like really came through and honestly shocked me. Just the intensity of that in the good way of I
Mhm.
just would look around the room
Mhm.
at different times during that dance and be like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god, everyone is dancing together." It's not like there's a couple people over here and a couple people over here, people in their own space. And there was definitely waves of that and that flowing in and out of people needing to do what they needed to do. But I think there were just so many instances where I was like, I think we're an entire group of, I don't know, 20 people, however many people came, and we were all dancing together, all of us. And that felt so powerful and so wild and like really just fun. And it went by in 10 minutes. That entire experience,
Mhm.
that was an hour and a half long set. And it just went by so quick because it was just so
Yeah.
fun.
It was so special, and I remember feeling something similar to you described of just, like, looking around and being like, "Oh my god, are we really doing this right now?" It was just so playful and so joyful and so interactive and connected,
Mhm.
and I'm curious too, I've heard you talk about community and connection in these relationships. Is that something that you would say is important to cultivate in all of your dances? Or tell me a little bit more about the community and connection. And this, I have like multiple reasons for asking this question. I feel like some people might have no idea what ecstatic dance is. And
Yeah.
I know sometimes we kind of struggle to articulate what is sparkle space? Is ecstatic dance even the best term for it?
Mhm.
So, for people who have never been to any kind of experience like this, I'm curious if you can talk more about the community and connection piece. And even for people who might have been to other ecstatic dances, how does what you create differ? How is it similar? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was so I used to go out with my friends. This was like a couple years ago. And the main reason why I wanted to go out with my friends and go dancing at a bar, a club or something was because I loved dancing. I was like, I want to go because I want to dance. And it just so happened that it was in the social setting and other things were involved, but it was really and truly when I got to the core of it, it was like, no, I just want to go dance. And then I took a break from that and I really missed dancing and I just really missed that part. And then a year or so later, I found ecstatic dance It was this really beautiful moment. Oh my gosh, this relief of I get to move my body and I get to move it so weird and so just truthful to what it needs, and really removing that judgment of I have no idea what I look like and I don't care. Of course, there's going to be times when like I do, but it just is this really beautiful moment for me to be in my body. And that's something that I can struggle with at times. Like I do really live in my brain most of the time. And so ecstatic dance is this like really beautiful moment for me to be able to do that. And I think the reason why community and building this container of connection before ecstatic dance is so important is because there have been experiences that I've had at ecstatic dance where, I'm dancing and I want to connect with other people. And sometimes it can be hard when everyone is in their own space, which I think is important. We need that time to connect with ourselves and with our body and maybe close our eyes. I definitely have moments when I'm doing that and I'm having an experience that I just need to have myself. But sometimes there's this almost like barrier that I have felt before of, well, I want to experience this joy that I'm feeling with other people and connecting with other people in that space. And I think that's why it's so important for me to try to build that connection first before we even start the dance, because I think it also
Mm,
creates this softening layer for people to come more into themselves and feel okay to be
mhm,
themselves. When you're in a room full of people,
mhm,
some people might not have that initial barrier to be, oh, I can be as weird and wild and bold as myself. And some people might have that
mhm,
barrier, but I think creating this container, like loving circle of we're connected, we're having moments of play, we're even just get having a few moments of talking and sharing and really taking that time before we jump into this like very vulnerable experience. As well, let's build this foundation that it can be held so people can really show up in that way as best as they can. And there's definitely, again, going to be variations to that. And there's definitely moments when I'm in my head and things, but I just really feel like it's important to create that initial foundation first so the rest of it can
mhm.
blossom with like more ease.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. And like you shared, it's not something that energy is established in every type of ecstatic dance
Mhm.
or event. And I've experienced your mastery and facilitation of that. And that everything that we talked about in that horse dance, I think was possible because you created that container
Mhm.
and took that time at the beginning to really invite people into that and ease into that and create this element of relatedness. Because, yeah, this is for most people very far
Yeah.
outside what they're normally doing. Maybe they don't dance at all. Maybe they haven't been out social dancing since they were in college or whatever. They're not used to interacting with people in this way.
Mhm.
So it's really inviting people to maybe explore something that feels new and vulnerable and potentially uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And I think that you do a really beautiful job of creating safety and inviting vulnerability and creating the container that has people feel a little bit more clear of, okay, this is how I'm being invited to show up, and this is what that dynamic can look like.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So for people who have heard about this cat dance coming up this Friday, March 28th,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, March 28th.
Yeah.
And they're like thinking about it, they're intrigued. What would you want to tell them or invite them if they're kind of on the fence? I don't know if this is for me or not. What would you want to share with them?
Yeah. So I yeah, you hear it. It's like big cat dance. What does that mean? I think my invitation, and really it's my prayer and intention anytime I create a dance, but especially with this dance, is for people to really connect with their wild, courageous, free self. This part that we have all of these other conditionings and layers on top of that block us from connecting to that. And so I really want that to be a focal point of this dance, is to really slowly
Mhm.
peel away those layers because it feels so good.
Mhm.
Not limit ourselves to not be like, oh, I can't move that way because that's weird. Or I can't make this sound that I
Mhm.
feel like my body needs to make because, oh gosh, what are people going to think? And just really creating the space that allows people to relax into that and just be themselves and be human and also be animals. I think this animal medicine that's coming through us, we forget that we are literally animals. And I think that's why these dances feel so important. And this dance feels so important because it's like we get to be that. We get to be human. We get to be animals. We get to really sink into that. And we're taught societally and culturally to be these people. And we have these jobs and we have these rules and we have these guidelines, and really creating this space that allows people to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I get to be a wiggly worm on the floor. I really needed that. And I don't need to fully understand why I needed that. I just get to need that and then receive that. And so yeah, I want people to show up as themselves, however they're feeling that day. And maybe that's not being super loud and bold in that way, but maybe it's, oh, I'm so glad I get to sit and just roll around on the floor and be soft. Maybe someone's gonna come and take a cat nap in the corner, but again, just not limiting ourselves to like what that
Mhm.
looks like.
Yeah, and I love that call out and that reminder that you don't have to be in any kind of mood to
Mhm.
show up for this. It's not like, okay, I have to be high energy and I have to be ready to connect with a bunch of people. If you don't want to connect with a bunch of people, you don't have to. You can really show up however you want.
Mhm.
And that's something that I really appreciate about the spaces that you hold, the spaces that we create at Sparkle Space, that I feel like sometimes people would judge if they want to go to an event or not
Mhm.
based off of like if they're in the mood.
Yeah.
And it's really like you can show up in any way you want and trust that you will receive whatever medicine, whatever energy that's there for you. And there's really zero expectations for
Mhm.
you to be any kind of way.
Yeah.
So I love that reminder. And for anyone who hears this or listens to this, show up however you are. It's
Mhm.
perfect. It doesn't matter what vibe you're in.
Yes.
And I'm curious too, I know the event is from 6 to 10,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So can you share a little bit logistically? I feel like sometimes in different ecstatic dances or different events, sometimes they're like, is it important to come on time? What really happens? Can
Mhm.
you share a little bit about this? Because what we just talked about is the importance of that beginning, creating the container, and
Mhm.
how that's such a powerful invitation to step into this energy.
Mhm.
So can you share a little bit about the time frame and what people can expect in that? And yeah, is it important to show up on time? What else might they need to know?
Yeah, so I would love for people to show up on time. I do think it's important. I think, yeah, it's gonna start at 6 with just a little wiggle room for people to get settled and everyone to get checked in, that kind of thing. But then we are gonna be starting pretty much on time. And I'm gonna start it with an opening circle and for everyone to speak their name into the space and do just like an opening question for people to think about. And then share my to share my reason for holding this dance and the calling and kind of like the medicine that I feel like has come through. And then we're really gonna get into it, get into the play part of it, which I'm really excited about. And so if some people can't make it for that, that's okay. And there's always anyone can come at any time. And I do think that what I feel wants to be created and what is getting created, I think would be best to be there at the beginning to really experience the whole thing because it's not, for me, it's not just this set. It's not just the
Mhm.
dance, it's not just the music, it's the part beforehand, it's the part after, it's really all of it. And so
Mhm.
I would love and hope for people to be able to experience the entire thing.
Mhm.
And for my
Mhm.
horse dance, there were some people that came like a little bit later, and that was okay. And they totally just sunk right into it, and it was wonderful. And I think that there is, yeah, just a lot of magic that I feel is being created in that beginning part too. Yeah, so I hope that people come on time to experience the fullness of it.
Mhm. Yes, 100%. So yeah, the invitation is there if you're able to get there by 6 p.m. or a little bit before so that you can check in, get settled.
Mhm.
That is a beautiful way to really drop into the energy and be able to ease yourself into that. And like you said, start peeling back those layers and just
Mhm.
giving yourself time to acclimate to this vibe. And then we'll go through this beautiful experience, whatever it is. And then how does it end? I think, is there a sound bath? Can you share anything about what's happening at the close of it?
Yeah, yeah. So it will end with a sound bath by Harmony Works. So Nicholas and Sophia will be there and we'll just do, I don't know, maybe like a 30, 45-minute sound bath, depending on the flow of the time. I want to make sure we also end on time and are just respecting people's timeline. So we'll see how long it is, but we'll end with a sound bath. And that's just to kind of allow people to settle back into their bodies and maybe connect with anything that came up for them, but just to have that stillness to really integrate the things that came through for them. So it's not just we're moving and then we leave. We're moving and then
Mhm.
we get to have that moment of stillness, that moment of relaxation to really just in what came through for everyone. And then at the end, we'll have a
Mhm.
sharing circle for people to maybe
Mhm.
speak that out loud or just to listen to everyone else's like shares. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like a beautiful journey, and there's a whole arc of it. So for sure, if people are able to stay and experience the whole thing, there is such deep magic in every part of the journey.
Mhm.
So thank you for articulating that.
Yeah.
And this might be a mundane question, and I feel like people might ask this, and especially if they've never been to anything like this, what should people wear? Is there any guidance?
Yeah.
Or if people are like, do I have to look like a cat? What is the invitation of how, yeah, in any of that?
Yeah, so people should wear whatever they want to wear. Wear what's comfortable, what you can move in, what allows you to be free in your body. And I will be channeling some cat energy and spirit through my clothes and like what I decide to wear. I know that some friends who are coming have cat ears and will be wearing them. I know another friend said that they want to do like whiskers with some glitter. So there will be a lot of glitter also, but really just come however you feel like most free and authentic to you. So
Mm,
people might be dressing up, but it's not a requirement. I actually have no idea what I'm wearing. I'm still figuring that out, but just something that feels good, something that feels freeing
mhm,
and bold if that
mhm,
feels good. Maybe something that is maybe a little out of the
mhm.
box of what you would wear, but also just like something that feels like you and feels comfortable and allows you to move in the way that you want to move.
Yes, I love it. And do people dance barefoot? Do they dance in socks or shoes or?
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend dancing either barefoot and in socks. It is on a carpeted floor, so I like to dance with socks because sometimes I like to spin, and so it's easier if I'm wearing socks to spin on the carpet. I would not, yeah, I think my request is that everyone takes off their shoes, like no shoes. No, no.
Yeah, I love it. So I pulled two cards
Oh,
before
cool.
this conversation, and I would love to share them with you
Yeah.
and see how any response that you have to them. So the two cards that I pulled, one of them says, I am passionate. I put my entire heart into the people and things I believe in. My passion is a powerful force. It is an eternal fuel. I recognize the strength of my passion, and therefore I am careful where I choose to focus it. I am passionate. Is there anything about that stands out, just about this dance or sparkle space or anything that you want to speak to?
Yeah, definitely. I yeah, I think there have definitely been moments as I've been creating this experience and dreaming this up, and I had the same experience when I did the horse dance where I thought, "This is a little weird."
Mm,
I've never really experienced anything like this, and now I'm, like, doing this, and this could be kinda weird, like and then there's
mhm,
this moment where but I'm like, "I love this. I'm so passionate about this." Like, when I
mhm,
created the horse dance, it was like, I love horses. Horses have been so important to me. They've come to me in dreams and meditations, and it lights me up and lit me up to create that experience. And same thing with the cat
mhm,
dance. As I'm creating this, it's getting me so excited and making me feel so alive and passionate to
mhm,
bring this forth and to really be a channel for what wants to come through and just reminding me that yeah, I'm a passionate person. I'm a passionate human and in order to bring those dreams and visions through, it's yeah, we have to fire up that passion. We have to connect to that passion that is already there. And we each have our own thing that lights us up and that we are passionate about. And this just happens to be one of those things for me is like animals, man. And yeah, I just feel like they have so much medicine to share and that I think a lot of the times when I connect with spirit and pray and things like that, there's different things that I'll pray to, but I think what I really also want to call
mhm,
in through this dance is like we can call on, just like we call on plants for help and herbs, we can call on animals for help. When we need more courage, we can call on the energy of the tiger and really ask to feel
mhm,
that and connect with that. And when we need more wisdom and clarity, connecting to the energy of the owl, there's just all of these animals are here
mhm.
are teachers for us as well, and that we can ask for that help when we need it, and that everyone's animal, like this happens to be my medicine right now is cats, but everyone has their own animal that feels important and resonant for them, maybe their whole life, maybe at this time in their life, and just really connecting to what that means for them and what they need in that moment.
Yeah, I love that. And I told you this before we got on this call. And there was a moment in your horse dance at the end when we were all sitting in circle, and my heart was just so full of gratitude for you for having lean into this passion and create that experience,
Mhm.
because it's something that no one else in the universe could have created in the way that you did. And just, I know what it takes to lean into that and not listen to the voice that says, this is weird. Nobody's going to want this, or like whatever. I don't know what the dialogue was in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it takes something to be able to listen to the voice, the spark, the something inside that's, this needs to be birthed.
Mhm.
This needs to come through me. And it's like when you look at an incredible piece of art or just something else in the world. I don't know if you've experienced that, but it was just such deep gratitude
Yeah.
for you and having followed this and created this.
Yeah.
So thank you for the gift of this beautiful medicine that you're sharing with all of us. And I know whatever is going to happen, it's going to be beautiful and magical and exactly what needs to come through. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
The other card says, I am receptive.
Mm.
I am open to new ideas. I am willing to try different methods, and I consider alternate viewpoints. I welcome intellectual stimulation. I am receptive. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, yeah, that feels also very resonant. I keep having this moment and prayer where I'm like asking to connect to this energy and the medicine that wants to come through, because like I said, when I said yes to this, it's like I also was like, but I also don't know what this is and what's going to come through and what wants to be birthed in this moment. And so just really asking to receive that wisdom and that medicine that wants to come through me, and to be this really open and clear channel for that, because it's like what I want to bring forth, but this is also coming through me. It's not my medicine. It's the medicine of spirit, of the world, and really just asking to be receptive to the wisdom that wants to be spoken and shared, and the wisdom that is already here. And yeah, that feels really important. I had this moment earlier. I was washing dishes and I was listening to music that I might put in the dance, and I was like just dancing around in my kitchen. And I keep having these moments when I'm laugh crying, where I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be so beautiful. And I connect to that feeling. And I'm also like, holy crap, what's happening? It's just like this really funny
Yeah.
experience of, whoa, this is big. This feels
Mhm.
big and feels so important
Mhm.
for also what's happening currently in the world. What
Mhm.
is coming forth
Mhm.
is not even what I thought was going to come through when I first said yes to this journey.
Mhm.
So yeah, that just the receptive part just like feels so important, because it is. It's like I'm like
Mm.
asking to be receptive to the medicine that wants to come. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm grateful that you are receptive. I definitely invite anyone who ever hears this to be receptive. If
Mhm.
you hear what we're talking about and there's anything inside of you that's curious, that's intrigued, that wants to experience this for yourself, just come. Give yourself that gift of just coming and seeing what happens. There's no other way to articulate it or describe it better than you experiencing it for yourself.
Mhm.
So I invite everyone and anyone ever listening, come to this dance. If you miss this dance, come to another Sparkle Space dance.
Mhm.
Just come. So
Yeah.
that's what I want to say. And is there anything else I didn't ask you that's just like on your heart that you want to share?
I feel like I think I shared everything that wants to come through. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Gina.
Great. Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing everything. And hopefully, we'll see everyone who ever listens to this or
Yeah.
hears this at the Cat Dance, Friday, March 28th
Mhm.
from 6 to 10 p.m. at St. Luke's Church on the Avenue in Hamden. If you've never been there before and you're familiar with Baltimore, it's across from the Charmery. It's right in the heart of Hamden. It's a big church. You just walk through the front doors, turn to your right. There's a big room that we're in there. It's a really special space. Like it's such a gift that we
Yeah.
have the connection here and are able to create experiences here. So
Mhm.
come, there's an Eventbrite that you can sign up. For sure, if you feel called, sign up ahead of time. Let us know that you're coming. It's always beautiful to see and start feeling the energy of people ahead of time. Yes, of course, you can just come and drop in person, and it's all donation based. We have some suggested donations. So we really welcome everyone. And yeah, if you're able to get there on time, great. If you're running late, don't worry about it. Just show up.
Yeah.
So thank you so much
Thank
for being here with
you.
me today. And I can't wait to dance with you Friday.
Me too. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Gina.